Hi, everybody. Welcome to week 15. It's hard to believe that we are in the final week of our classes. That said, let me share my screen. So as I said, we are in week 15. Let me get out of this syllabus screen for a moment. Sorry about that. And that means we are in the final portfolio with reflective writing. This is your final assignment for this class, and hopefully it's not too big of a task for you. I do want to talk about a few things in this final portfolio just to explain what I'm looking for and what you should address in the reflective writing piece. So there's two parts of this. You are going to write a reflective opening statement letter. You can address it to me. It doesn't have to be a formal essay. It's a little bit more of an informal piece, but you're going to do some self-reflection. And here are some of the things that I want you to think about that you'll include in this opening statement. I want you to think about how you're going to introduce your portfolio of work to me. Would it be helpful to review what pieces are actually in the portfolio? I also want you to think about the changes that you've seen in yourself as a writer from the beginning of the course until now. How have you progressed? How have you developed? And you might pull some example excerpts from early drafts to revise projects to illustrate those changes, how you've grown as a writer or even as an individual. What's changed about your writing habits or your writing practices? For example, you might be relying on peer feedback more than you did in the past. Maybe you build in more time for revision than you have previously done. Maybe there's some other aspect about your writing habits or your practices that you've developed throughout the course of this class. And of course, I also want to know what you're most proud of in your portfolio. What one piece that you have chosen are you so proud of that you worked really, maybe it's something that you put a lot of time and effort into, or maybe you just did a really fantastic revision, or you came up with a really wonderful and original idea, what have you. So I want to know what you are proud of. I'm proud of different things for each student, but I want to know what you as a student are proud of doing in this class. And also I want you to think of what difficulties you may still have and what you want to still continue working on after you're finished with this class, because we all are improving as writers, even I am. I've had things published, but it's a never-ending thing to want to work on your writing. So think about that. I also want to dip into our textbook. You should have been reading chapter 13. If you didn't do that, you definitely should take a look at chapter 13 in our ebook, which has everything to do with putting it all together in a final portfolio. And here they suggest that you use the course learning outcomes to self-assess some of your writings, which I think is a fantastic idea. So that's why I had the syllabus page pulled up at first. So let's go back to that. You will find the course learning outcomes in the syllabus. If you look at the course overview, we have the course description and purpose, and then we have course learning outcomes. Now, I want you to be mindful that the department, right before I developed this class, had changed the learning outcomes. So in subsequent semesters, these will actually be very different. But I want you to take a look at these outcomes because I did develop the assignments and a lot of the learning activities to revolve around these outcomes. So the first one is to identify, respond to, and write effectively for various rhetorical situations. Obviously, you've done this. You've done several different types of essays, several different types of projects, and even the small stakes assignments. Those are different rhetorical situations as well. create sustained writing projects that integrate and account for multiple perspectives. You want to analyze argument strategies and persuasive appeals and employ them in our own writing. So we did that looking at rhetorical appeals in the various rhetorical situations. Develop clear arguments that incorporate ideas and evidence from sources, juxtaposing, integrating, and citing them appropriately. That was the main goal of the research project, the research argument essay. Produce successive thesis-driven drafts of increasing quality through drafting, revising, and editing. Of course, you've done that. Provide and use constructive feedback on writing. You had several opportunities to offer your opinions and suggestions, constructive feedback to your peers. Reflect on the rhetorical choices and connect this learning to other writing situations. Not sure we fulfilled that, but we'll see. Use complex and varied sentence structures and exhibit a writing style appropriate to different rhetorical situations. Again, we had a variety of different rhetorical situations, and you did learn to adapt your writing style to have, a more formal academic approach, and then with the recast project, a less formal approach to offer information to a more general public. Of course, demonstrate syntax and grammar control. That's the nitty gritty, the editing stuff that we think of as English, right? Quote, paraphrase, summarize, document, and cite sources accurately, locate and evaluate print and electronic source material. You did that through using the library guide and other resources on the web. And of course, to use electronic media to compose and publish. And that was one of the big things, one of the goals for that recast project. So those are the course learning outcomes. So take a look. I do want to switch back to the chapter 13 in our text and take a look at 13.3. I may have pointed this out in a previous video, but it never hurts to point it out again. And this is just addressing the various things to touch on in your opening statement, how to write an opening statement, certain prompts for that reflective letter, and then of course an example. Should be 1 to 2 pages and be fairly, it can be casual, it can be a bit informal. It doesn't have to be like a formal essay, but it should be addressed to me and, filled with self-reflection. That's really what I want you to do with this assignment. So that is the reflection part of it. And then the next part is putting together, choosing the pieces that you want to choose. You will actually choose 2 of the pieces. And for this, it's the main assignments, the major assignments, the major writing assignments, not the low stakes ones, but the big ones. So you have the rhetorical analysis that we started with, the research argument. I'm just listening to the research argument essay, the recast project, right? Those are the 3 things that you focused on in this class. So I want you to choose your 2 favorites and 2 that you think represent your best work in this class. So to get started, I want you to think about the pieces you're most proud of, as I said before, and that you want to include in the final portfolio. If you want to, you can include newly revised versions of previously graded essays. I'm not going to change the grades of those essays. The grade is what you got. But for this, this portfolio, if you feel like, oh, I could have improved something, I didn't really have a chance, when I was revising before, and if you want to work on it, revise it, I'm happy to take a look at it and take that under consideration for your final grade here. So I have a particular way that I want this formatted. I don't want a collection of several documents submitted in the grade book. I want one document, okay? So it's going to be a new document. You're going to create a new document, a new docx, PDF, what have you, that includes not only your reflective opening statement letter, but also the two highlighted pieces. This means you're going to have to copy and paste those previous documents, or if you have newly revised documents, you're going to copy and paste those into that portfolio document. The MLA heading should appear on the first page, just like you do with every writing assignment. You're going to have the heading, you're going to have the header, and then you're going to have a title. So the first page of your portfolio is that first page of your reflective opening statement, your reflective letter. The title of it should be Final Portfolio with a colon and then your full name, okay? Start each piece on a new page. So once you finish your reflective letter, which should be 1 to 2 pages, you're going to copy and paste your first piece on a new page, which means you have to enter, right? Or start new page. And then at the end of that, whichever one you have first, make sure that the second one is copied and pasted onto its own separate new page, just like you do with your works cited, right? So make sure in this portfolio that you carefully proofread the work that you want to submit, right? Review your opening statement that you drafted, which will introduce your portfolio to me, and make sure that it meets the guidelines that I have set forth and that you proofread it carefully, as with everything, right? And again, pay attention to the formatting guidelines, make sure that it's formatted per MLA rules, as well as the guidelines that I stipulate above, and pay attention to details such as headings, page numbers, and your citations as you finalize the formatting. This assignment is due Wednesday, December 8th. So it's due during the final exam week. If you want to submit it sooner than that, that's fine with me. But I want it by December 8th. And so that is our week 15. And I will put this video actually right at the top of this assignment. So this will look a little different once you open it up. Another thing that I want to address, and I sent this out in the announcement, is if you have any late work that you want to submit, I will accept it up through December 11th. That's Saturday, December 11th. If you submit something past that date, I'm not going to look at it. I'm not going to grade it. It will be a 0. Just so I'm clear, okay? But I'm willing to accept work up through December 11th, and then I'm just going to have a ton of grading and hopefully get grades done quickly and posted as soon as I can. I'm not even aware of the date that I'm supposed to submit grades. I'm sure I'll be getting an email about that any moment. But I will try to get that stuff done as quickly as possible so that you know your grade and you aren't waiting, and you can go and enjoy your winter break and come back fresh and renewed in January. So I wish you all the best in your other classes. Hope that finals week isn't too stressful for you, and that you're not cramming everything in at the last minute, and that you're able to enjoy a wind down after the Thanksgiving break. It's been a pleasure teaching you, and I hope we cross paths again sometime. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.